Okay, so a brief update in science. If you hire the world's foremost expert in transplant surgery, you can graft an animal's head to a human's body. I happen to know this because I've met him, Dr. Small. Tell us, Dr. Small, what did you manage to do this year? Attention, class. I know some rumors have been going on that this lecture would be led by a very interesting guest. I see that word spreads quickly because our class seems to have tripled in size overnight. For those who don't know, my name is Dr. Richard Small. I've been leading this lecture on grafting surgery for 30 years now. The audience shifted impatiently in their seats, and the sound of squeaking chairs only highlighted the silence in the room. Now, animating dead bodies has been researched for a long time, but still remains a relic of old horror stories. What I have sought to do is far more difficult. I have matched apples to oranges and attached a chicken's head to a human body. It's well known that a chicken's body can survive without the head, provided you leave enough of the brainstem intact. What you may not know is that if the brainstem is left inside the head, that head can go on living for a few critical minutes, and you can attach its nervous system to that of a human body. With some luck, the chicken's brain will start sending electrical signals to the human body, and you will have created a human chicken. With that, I will no longer delay. I ask you not to use flash photography, and attempt to remain quiet throughout the lecture as to not startle the creature. For your intellectual curiosity, I present Clucky. Dr. Small went to a side door near the stage, opened it, and slowly let in a rackety metal rig. The rig itself was a metal frame on wheels, much like two coat-hanging racks from a hotel lobby were bolted together. A host of elaborate machinery hung from every available metal bar, including a harness. From the harness dangled a man's body. Leading out from the man's neck were a variety of pumps and instruments. In the center of all those tubes, presumably responsible for keeping the body alive without a proper head, was a small white fuzzy knob of flesh. The audience gasped and recoiled in tantalized disgust. The machinery quietly made pumping noises as the monstrosity hulked upon the stage. 3 people in the audience passed out while the creature struggled with tortured footsteps. Don't worry, everyone. There is no need to be alarmed. Clucky is fine. Would you care to speak to the audience, Clucky? Dr. Small put his microphone up to Clucky's beak. The bird let out a squeaky gurgle. Then, much to everybody's shock, it spoke.
Good evening, everyone.
4 more people passed out, and the audience gasped. The chicken head continued in a squeaky, strained voice.
My name is Clucky, and as you can see, I can talk now where once I could not. It has taken me a great deal of work to get to this point, even to refer to myself. There is a strange identity crisis that comes from being a head attached to a different body. That word, me, seems like a stranger. My body is not my body. How much of a creature, then, does it take to truly be that creature? If you lose a hand, but a doctor should give you another, does that stop being your hand? Do you share a body with another person? There is no true answer to the question. Now, you may think, since the brain contains the consciousness, then the vessel no longer matters. My head, and whatever it's attached to, is me. However, the question has since become more complicated, as every day I learn about the effects my body has on me. This body has forced me to share an identity with human beings, and as a result has forced my brain to adapt. That is the reason I can speak to you today. I am now part human, So my brain adapted, and now I can speak to you in normal conversation. Thus, the brain controls the body, and the body controls the brain. Where does this lead me to? Am I a chicken or a man? The best answer is that I am neither. I am an individual containing no species, no identity except the name with which I have been given. I am free on a vast plain of confusion. I know what I am, and have no need to define myself to the satisfaction of anybody. Feel free to consider me whatever you would like, but they will only be thoughts and will not stick to me.
Clucky adjusted his body in the harness and prepared to open the floor to questions. Suddenly, the back doors to the auditorium flew open, and in busted a very angry man, face like a cherry tomato. He clawed at the air in a confused manner and screamed upwards at nobody, "You have defied the will of God!" Dr. Small ran up the stairs and confronted the madman. "You need to leave right now!" The madman took a pistol from his jacket pocket and shot Dr. Small twice in the chest and once in the head. Dr. Small collapsed down the shallow auditorium steps to the horror of the audience. People rushed away screaming and grabbing at each other. Clucky, very familiar to the sight of herds running from a killer, did not move. With his elaborate rigging, he knew he would only hurt himself by trying to run away. The killer walked lightly down the steps, as if a heavy step would make his head explode. Clucky watched as the murderer approached him, gun drawn.
You shouldn't kill me. I am incapable of hurting anyone, but my existence is important for science.
The gunman did not alter his stride, so Clucky continued begging.
You will not be doing God's work.
Clucky drifted off due to his lack of understanding of what his presence did to offend God.
Please don't.
The gunman stood only a few feet from Clucky, and all rationality left Clucky's mind, and he started screaming with a terrified squawking noise. The gunman, without hesitation, raised his gun and shot Clucky 7 times. Clucky's body swung limply from the harness. The gunman bolted out the side entrance. People in the audience were left wondering if Clucky was murdered like a human, or if he was a chicken taken to the chopping block.